All right. Hello, everyone, and
Oh,
welcome. How's everyone doing tonight? Wave your hand if you're doing all right tonight. Just wave at me. Okay. Well, I'm so delighted to see your beautiful faces, and we're trying to work out all the bugs. So I do apologize. Let me know, leave a comment, say, hey, girl, get professional. We're trying to do that. Welcome to Lending Our Shared Stories. Well, I know that what brought us here and what brought us here to this website, to this Zoom, is because of a loss. And whatever loss that you're dealing with, I want to let you know that it is okay. It is okay to go at it how you go at it. Some people choose to talk it out. Some people choose to, I don't want to talk about it. There is no right or wrong way to grieve. This organization began in 2019 after the loss of my husband, Robert. And to say the least, I was very devastated, not knowing what to do. And that's how loss presents itself. It's like, what do I do? Where do I go from here? And it's very personal. It is your journey. It is your story. In the comments section tonight, if you have recently lost a loved one or someone that you know of is experiencing a loss, I want you to please type their name in the comments section. When I say recently, I would say 2 years or less, if you can do that. But if you have had someone, if you suffered a loss, like myself, it's been 5 years since that loss, but my father, he passed away last year. And most recently, I had a loved one to pass away, as a matter of fact, today. So loss is something that we're going to need it. You may not need this organization today, but if you need us, we are here for you. So go ahead in the comment section if you have someone that you want us to pray for or just to stand in the gap for. We want you to know that we are here. We are an organization who cares greatly about your loved one, whether it's a family member, it's a friend, it's a coworker, it's a sibling, it's a child, it's the loss of a spouse. If you're dealing with self-identity, identity loss, whatever that loss is, that is why this organization is and has been created. I want to thank you guys so much for joining. I see several of you all who are on today. It's going to get bigger and bigger, and I'm so happy to see you all. And I'm thankful for our host, Josiah, who is assisting me with the Zoom to get it all out. I'd like to go ahead and just jump right into it if I can, and talk about the three C's tonight. The three C's would be choose, connect, and communicate. When dealing with loss, I want you to remember three C's. Choose. Choose is how do you choose to move forward in the event of your loss, whatever that way that is. I have a dear friend, and she always tells me, she said, it's okay. Some people cry it out. Some people, they talk it out. Some people, they take a drive, they get out. I see that Miss Sally, her friend Nikki lost her dad this morning. And on Saturday, her 21-year-old nephew was killed in the car. Our deepest condolences, and so sorry for your loss there. Your brother and sister lost their dad, and last week my best friend lost her nephew. We're so sorry, Miss Courtney, to hear that news. And that is what loss is. We're about compassion and empathy and kindness. Um, yeah, that's why we're here. So the three C's tonight is choose, connect. Sometimes we think we can go at it alone, or we stuff it in, we hold it in. And communicate. It's how you express yourself, which is important. It's important, I feel, to reach out to let people know, with the recent loss that I just experienced in this day. I thank God I reached out to a few friends. And of course, I knew I was going to have my great support group, you all here. And that is why we are here. Sometimes you may not know the words to say. I don't think, I don't know. We learn as we go. We learn as we go what to say. And sometimes we say the wrong thing. We think we're saying the right thing, but it turns out that, uh-oh, that might not have been like, how are you doing? Do you know, with all the L.O.S.S training that I've done, I recently reached out to someone, and the first thing I said was, how are you doing? I said, oh. So even I don't get it right all the time. And the person said, I, I don't even know how I'm doing. I just wanted to put my foot in my mouth and just like run, because I know it's like you don't know what you're doing. I want Josiah to put up the first slide, if he can, about understanding the grief stages. And I'd like to talk about that a little bit tonight. So some of you all, this is a diagram here, and these are the 7 stages of grief. Can you guys hear me okay? Hopefully. Not okay. Thank you, Trina. So there's shock and denial, which is the first. You may find yourself, you know, after the loss of a loved one. I'm devastated. I can't believe they're gone. No, they're not gone. They're still here. And that's a part of grief. Pain and guilt. Man, if I would have just did this for him or her, they'd still be here. Anger and bargaining. I'm just so angry. I'm angry at the world. I'm angry. Depression. We all know what depression is. These are stages of grief. The upward turn. Things are starting to turn around. You know what? Today I feel like putting on some clothes. Today I feel like washing my car today. That's a great place to be in if you can get there. And reconstruction, now you're working through the grief. You know, I was traveling quite a bit when my husband passed, not traveling because, you know, it was like vacation. I was running. You know, I was like, let me get away from everyone. But then I realized, okay, I can't keep taking these trips. I need to work through this. And so I joined a support group, and I founded L.O.S.S. In the midst of all that, I founded this organization. Then there's acceptance and hope. And that's why, you know, this has happened to me, and it's going to be okay. And I'm going to deal with it. Okay, Josiah, you can go ahead, and thank you so much for sharing that. So those are the 7 stages right there. And I wanted to talk about those because you may be at a place where you're dealing with the guilt, or you're dealing with depression. Well, he didn't love me, or we argued, or I didn't love him, or whatever that was. I just want you to think about the 3 C's. And as you work through your grief, move forward. Try not to get over it. If anyone ever tells you to get over it, you never get over it. You don't, anybody think you ever get over it? Because you still feel it. You don't. And it hurts. And sometimes it's just like, you know, still dealing with the loss of my spouse. Then my father passes, but I'm still dealing with that loss. Then I'm dealing with that loss. And then my cousin passed, and then an aunt passed. And it's like you're dealing. But the way to free yourself as far as to help is to release, to unlock, to let it out, to not forget about it. But these are the things that help you move forward. You know, perhaps taking up a hobby, perhaps reading a book, writing in a journal. These things help. And it's okay to reach out for help. In our comment section, there's a number that you can call. We're going to start sharing a number. My friend Teresa, she's an agent of change. We have her number available, and I'm sure Tammy is also here to assist. But there's a number. If you need to reach out and speak to someone, you can call, and it's 931-272-7237. That's right, Josiah just put that up there. I want y'all to know that she will answer. She will be there to listen. As agents of change, we are here to listen without a judgment zone. I've heard hundreds of stories, and that is confidential. Whatever you share with us, I wanted to create a group where people felt safe. How many of you know that it's a great thing to feel safe? And you don't want to be judged. Maybe even you could be angry at the person that's deceased, but that's no judgment zone in that. And I've heard stories on both sides. Well, you know, It was like, he wasn't a good person or she wasn't a good person. There's no judgment zone in that. Um, and there's a way to ask forgiveness and also to forgive those who have passed on. Sometimes a person has passed away and people are still dealing with, say, I could not forgive them. But as the more you connect and reach out, you will find that way to be able to let go and release so that you can have experienced freedom. And everyone is not the same. This is not a competition of, man, this person passed and they got over it in 1 week. It could take years. Y'all know that? Because I was wondering, I just graduated with my master's, and in my life, everything has a time. There's like a timeline. You go to high school, you graduate. You have children, they turn 18, and prayerfully they're flying, right? They're experiencing life. But I asked my therapist, I said, okay, like, how long does this last? Because I've got stuff to do. She says, as long as it takes. Oh, man. So you're not telling me June the 5th or July the 7th? There's no time. And the reason why L.O.S.S was created as well is because sometimes you may share how you feel with family and they may not be able to understand, or even friends. You're explaining to them how you feel and they're like, oh, here she comes again. Oh, I got to listen to another story about Robert. Oh my gosh. So I thank God for L.O.S because we can all talk about our spouses or our loved ones who have departed. And not everyone on here is widowed. But I'm thankful for those who support L.O.S in every sense of the word support. You don't have to experience the loss of a spouse to be here in this group. If you've just experienced loss, you are welcome. We minister this message of love at the prison where they have a loss of their time and their freedom. And just 3 weeks ago, we visited the only sitting woman on death row, Krista Pike. And there we ministered the love of Jesus. She'll never be released. She's waiting for execution. But as she sits and waits out her time, L.O.S is there. The group lending our shared stories is there because all of us have a story to share. And you never know where you may be or the people you may meet in life. Some of the people, the most kindest people that I've met, have been affected in some way by a loss. In Clarksville, a lot of people lost their homes due to the tornado. A lot of people, including me. But I'm still here today by the grace of God. And I experienced the kindness of strangers, people who traveled from West Virginia, people who traveled from Connecticut. They were on the ground helping families in Clarksville, Tennessee. That is such a blessing. I said, Lord, one day I want to give that back to others, to be able, what I've experienced, to be able to give that back. One thing that we always say with loss, if someone is experiencing loss, it's such a blessing when you hear comforting words. And the first thing that I find comforting, if you differ, let me know. I'll say, I'm so sorry for your loss. I was sharing the loss of a family member that I've experienced today. And the person on the other line said, I am so sorry for your loss. My deepest condolences. And that person was able to connect with me. Can I offer to do this? Or what can I do? How can I assist? Because sometimes we don't know. I said, I really don't know because I can't think right now. And sometimes when you're experiencing loss, you're like all over the place. Anybody ever been all over the place? Because of the loss, you didn't know whether you were here nor there, and it's okay. You may decide to stay in the bed with it. You may decide to get up, but pray, ask the Lord for help. For me, in my case, I had to do a lot of praying, but in the beginning, I didn't want to pray. Talking about with the loss of my spouse, I was just devastated. And I know people handle loss differently. They go through it differently, but there's not a comparison, and it's okay. It is okay, long as you come out on the other side. And together we are building a network of support for anybody that's going through grief. There's a number that you can call. Okay, I don't care what time it is. You can call, and don't share and say, I'll be there. And then when they call you, you're not available. Because loss doesn't have a time. Grief does not have a time. Grief may happen at 3 o'clock in the morning and you're screaming and crying, I need somebody. If you're somebody, you say, hey, they can call me. Let me see a show of hands. You can reach out, touch me. If you have no place to go, I'm here. Because that's what we want to see in this organization. I'm here. I see several people in this live that I've had to call. And some of those calls were early in the morning because I was like, I don't know if I can do this. But one thing about God in my faith, what I can't do, I know that God can. So if you are hurting tonight and you are struggling, please reach out to us. Let us know that it's me and I'm going through it. We are here to listen. None of us here at L.O.S. are trained licensed professionals. I say my loss has made me a professional. I am experienced in the grief because I've had plenty of it in the past couple of years. However, I'm always open to listening to a story and understanding and not to debate. I'm not here to say you're right or you're wrong. Sometimes you just need someone to listen. And that's all we aim to be at L.O.S. is just a source where we're here to listen. I want you to think about something for all of you all who have lost a loved one or someone who has passed away. If that loved one was here, and y'all can put it in the comments, what do you think they would want you to do? Do you think they want you to give up? What do you think they would say to you? How would they say? For me, my husband would say, Treva, I can't believe you're doing all this. Let's go. What do you think your loved one would say? Do you think they would want you to lie around and mope? Somebody talk to me in the chat, or you can just talk it out. I like to hear some voices now if I can, because I'm not this technology. Y'all help me out. Somebody talk to me. So I know my husband, my late husband, he say, Treva, come on now. Look, God is good. Come on. What's something else that's encouraging? What do you think they would maybe want for you to say? Or what could you promise your husband? I'm going to rise up today. I'm going to be stronger today. I think about a dear friend of mine. Her name was Mrs. Almeida Pratt. She was a dear friend. And she passed away shortly after my spouse had passed away. And we used to talk like almost sometimes on a daily basis. She was a wonderful friend of mine. And I remember one day she had one daughter. And she connected me years ago, but her daughter and I weren't really close. She said, I want you to meet my daughter. I was like, I'm not interested in meeting her daughter because I got Miss Pratt. That's my friend. And then when Miss Pratt had passed away, I connected with her daughter. And today she's my sister. And she's on the line tonight. Her name is Sharice. So hi, Sharice. I see you in the chat. It's like Miss Pratt left a beautiful blessing here in this earth for me. I'm thinking of my uncle. I know he would encourage me to believe in myself and know that I can. That's right, Courtney. That's right. And whenever you feel sad, I want you to think, what would that uncle say? What would that brother say? What would that sister say? Would they want to see you like, to the point where you just can't, I can't make it. Because I feel like I know that my husband's life was not in vain. So if I keep moving, I'm kicking grief in the face. Every time I rise up, you have to make a decision to rise. Death will happen to any of us. Death just happened to me on this day. I just experienced it on this day, and I'm doing this Zoom because I need L.O.S. I need lending our shared stories. Because you never know when something could happen, right, Teresa?
That's right, baby.
That's right.
And that's Teresa right. Is a miracle person. Just real quickly, I'm so glad she's here because she was in an accident and you're here today. How are you feeling today, Teresa?
Really good. I am so blessed because by all means, You know, God was there in that vehicle with me that night of the accident. You know, most people don't survive head-on accidents, and I had a head-on accident in January, and I never lost consciousness. The last words out of my mouth before the car hit me was, God protect me and my granddaughter. And he was there. He took care of us both. So I'm living proof, you know?
Man,
Living
y'all
proof.
hear that? Let's clap it up for Teresa.
Thank you.
Man,
I'm
so
just happy to be here to be able to help others with their grief and their loss, because, you know, I lost a husband when I was 25 years old. I have 4 small children, ladies, you know, and I didn't know how I was going to go on, you know, but I knew I had to go on for those kids. And I put it in the chat, you know, my husband was to be able to speak to me. He would have said, don't stop living. You got to keep living. Our kids need you. And that's what motivated me, was my small children. You know, they needed me. How could I just abandon my children and just, you know, be sad all the time? I had to smile and move on and give those children hope, you know, for the future, you know? And when you lose a loved one, whether it's old or new, it's not easy. Whether it's your parent, whether it's your favorite pet, your best friend, I don't care who it is, it's sad. But just remember, you're here for a reason, you know? God has you here for a reason.
Man,
and it's good.
I love it. I love it.
I love each and every one of you. And I hope we can keep building this so that we can get people that don't have anyone to reach out to. I was telling Treva, when I lost my husband years ago, we didn't have support groups like this. We didn't talk about loss, you know? We didn't talk about this at all. You just kind of had to move on, had to suck it up and move on. So this is my opportunity to be able to help others.
I love it. I want to ask you guys a question. What's your way of dealing with it? Please put it in the comment. Do you like to talk about it? A. B, I don't want to talk about it. Or C, tell me if you can, how do you deal with like something like this when loss occurs? It could be I'm having a bad day at work. It could be something's not going right, because you're going to help somebody. Again, it's your word of your testimony. Just share it, because you never know, somebody in this group who may be experiencing suffering in silence, and they may see how you process it. Talk, I think it saves people. It certainly saves me. I like to process it in my own with journaling. Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Courtney. Please share with us how you process it, because you're going to help somebody tonight. I need to hear it, however it is. And if it speaks to you, I want you to take that in. And this is ministering to me, because I'm processing a loss right now. Honoring legacy, remembering the good times. Like you said, think about what they would want. And that is to keep on keeping on. Thank you, man, that touches my heart. Because I know my loved one will want me to keep on keeping on. Thank you, Kimberly. How do you process your loss? Thank y'all so much for sharing it. Again, remember the 3 C's, and we've got 10 minutes left. These aren't long Zooms. We're just on here. We've got a few more minutes, and then I'm going to open it up. Don't forget to choose how you grieve, connect, and communicate. And also, be careful of wearing the mask. I want to show you guys an example. I don't know if y'all can see this. Can y'all see this okay or no? Mike can't see it.
No, it's too bright.
Can you see that?
Okay. Now I can see it a little bit.
Can y'all see the smiley face?
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of what grief looks like. It's smiling at you. You don't know, you work with these people, you go to church with these people, they're on the Zoom right now, what have you. But behind the mask, there could be anger, but you just saw a smiley face. Depression, but you just saw a smiley face. Yeah, I did too. Oh yeah, it's hiding. What about guilt? It's hiding. It's hiding behind that smile. And it's all because of this one word. What's that word?
Grief.
Grief. So if you don't learn to process your grief, if you don't learn to pay attention to it, it could consume you or overwhelm you. And I don't want that. Anybody would like to, have you guys, I'm so blessed by having you guys on here. We're going to do this like every 2 weeks. We're going to get on, we're going to share, we'll bring different speakers, just have to reach out. And I want you guys to invite somebody on the Zoom. So I want to take a minute to say hello to everybody. I see Trina, and there's Tammy and Teresa, there's Jeff, there's Tara, there's Courtney and Sharice and Kim and Josiah, and there's an iPhone, don't know who that is, and there's Sally and my son Robert, and Tammy and Kevin. I want to welcome you guys so much. Let me tell y'all what, we have more people on than we did 2 weeks ago. So that means we're growing. We're building a network. How many of you guys are here for our first one? Wave your hand. Yeah, that's right. I see you, Jeff. Jeff has been with us. That was my husband's best friend. My husband's best friend. He didn't have a lot of friends, but Jeff, he was like, leave Jeff alone. He's like, don't ask Jeff for nothing. I said, oh, I was just going to say hi to him. He was like, leave Jeff alone. I keep it to myself and with my close friends and family who knew the lost loved one. I usually integrate my grief into my classroom lessons so I don't let it build up. When I was 12, it says, oh, help me out. Something's in the way. Dog of 12 years died. I shared with my students, and we did a lesson on how our cultures practice mourning. And at our end, we wrote a letter to our past loved ones. That's beautiful, Tara. So it's like, how do you turn it around? It's like, you know what? I'm gonna stamp out grief, and I'm gonna let grief know that, you know what? You may be present, but I don't have to deal with you today. I'm gonna show you how I'm going to deal with you. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna choose not to isolate. Build a fortress where no one can get to you. I'm on an island. It was times I was like getting more and more withdrawn. You can take yourself more and more and more out of the picture because of grief. And just because everyone is smiling doesn't mean that they're happy. It doesn't mean that everything is okay. So I always say, look into the eyes of the person in front of you. Just look into their eyes, okay? And looking into the eyes, you'll be able to see. So I got room for one comment. Anybody had a great, you want to say anything? Anybody want to comment? Go ahead.
Do you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Tammy.
Okay, I just want to make one quick comment, and that is the fact that something I've learned this week, because I have stress and worry over the finances, over my schedule, over just everyday life, and be in the right place, right time at work, and everything compounds when you're going through it by yourself. But I remember that he would want me to be happy.
Amen.
So whatever makes me happy, if I go do something that makes me happy, then that's what he would want. So I got to quit worrying about I worry too much. And so I just gotta remember, okay, whatever makes me happy, I'm just gonna go do that. If it's going for a walk or going for a drive or getting an ice cream cone or whatever, just know that he would not want me to suffer in sadness. He would want me to be happy and go on.
Man, I love that. Let's clap it up for that. I love that.
That's awesome.
Man, if y'all didn't help nobody, y'all helped me. One thing about loss, I really think, I said, Lord, was loss just created for me? But obviously you guys are here and I'm healing more because of your support. I thank God. I see you, Trina and Tara, my Austin P buddy, like Sally. She's the sweetest woman that I know. And y'all know I love to call names out because everyone on here, you're here for a reason. You're here. Kim, we did an awesome hike together. We're going to do another hike this summer. So if y'all want to go on a hike, we're going to get with Kim and we're going to get that hike in. I'm just so grateful. So we're going to connect again in 2 weeks. Just reach out to us. If you're wearing that mask, you're wearing a mask on your face, you're hiding, it's the grief. Come out. Don't let it dictate or control your life. Because with grief, it'll make you eat and overeat. It'll cause you to drink and drink, and you'll be consumed with alcohol. You'll be consumed with substances, because that's the grief. Oh, take something for the pain. Just numb the pain. How many of us ourselves, we're doing that. We're harming. Let me just cut on myself because I'm dealing. No, we got some help in the comment section. We have some help tonight that tells you, like Kim says, I've grown to believe life doesn't die with the person. It introduces us to an opportunity to rebirth something anew. So as we prepare to close out, just because we're closing this Zoom, and I know some of your hearts are heavy, And I know some of you are hurting tonight because of the pain that you feel because your loved one is no longer here. I want you to know that through this organization, there is hope. And I promise you guys, we will keep the light on. We will keep that light on for grief support. Because of your generous giving and your donations, we're able to reach so many people. And we have something posted there in the comments if you would like to sow a seed to L.O.S S. We thank you because it takes finances to be able to do what we're trying to do. We've got a lot that we're working on, to include a book that we're working on for the widows, activities, reaching out through so many different individuals to let them know that you are not alone. That's all I just want to say. Did y'all enjoy tonight's session?
Yes.
Yes.
So how many of you guys are going to try to come back? Are you going to come back in 2 weeks? Do y'all like this?
I'm gonna try.
Is there
Yeah.
anything that you like?
2 weeks.
Thank you, Courtney. Courtney, is
I'll
there
put it in my
anything that you guys would like to see?
Hurry up, get over here.
Because somebody said, well, y'all always talking about grief. Well, as long as we live, loss is going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, just when I thought I was already in the acceptance, here come a new loss today.
Gracie would like to say hi.
Oh,
Get behind me.
hi, people.
Hi.
Look at our young people. I love that.
She wanted to say hi.
She came out to one of our L.O.S S meetings. It's so good. She's an author, right? Grandma's an author.
Well, the book is about her. Yes, her and I together.
Okay. All right. How many of you guys invited a guest tonight? Who has
I
invited
did.
somebody?
I did.
I don't know if they showed
Are
up.
they here?
No,
I
not
don't
this time.
see 'em.
See, we were gonna have a contest. I can't do it. But but we've grown, and I want to thank you guys, everyone who invited. Let's clap it up.
That's right. All of us did.
And you know what? This isn't. And last thing I'll say this: this isn't something that people are running to. This isn't the country club. This is a heavy topic. I told my therapist, I said, I joined a club that nobody wants to be in. Loss of a spouse, nobody's signing up for that. There's not a line around the building like a club trying to get in. So this is not that kind of group like, oh, this is a lot of people. And when I see that, it aches my heart because I know there's some loss. So with that being said, I'm going to have Miss Kara, my beautiful daughter-in-law. I asked her to come on here and pray. She's going to close us out in a word of prayer if she doesn't mind. Are you there, Kara?
I'm here. Hi, everyone.
Okay, I want her to close us out, and I'll send out the announcement for the next one. I want to thank y'all for getting on. I love you guys, and we're going to do it again. Go ahead, Miss Kara.
Great. Thank you, Lord, so much for this time. God, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for allowing us to be here all together. Lord, we know that so many hearts are heavy today as we sit on this Zoom. There are some people who are experiencing a new loss, who are still grieving the loss of loved ones and family members. But Lord, we know that all of this is so important to you and that